Defense, the 18th ranked Cavaliers are now a who's who of high-flying offensive talent, led by a dazzling freshman class, and none more impressive than the Belgian bell cow Testa Ritter. The forward is fired up to be the reigning ACC Player and Rookie of the Week. It's clear Donnie Freeman will have his hands full down low as he looks to lead Syracuse out of a slump. The Orange have lost 4 of their last 5, including a 10-point defeat to North Carolina last week. Can the Orange finally bounce back? We're ready to break down everything you need to know ahead of number 18 Virginia and Syracuse men's hoops right here, right now on Cuse Countdown. Roll the tape. Welcome into our CitrusTV studio alongside Drew Albaugh and Nick King. I'm your host, Jish Sokolsky, ready for another episode of Cuse Countdown. Fellas, before we get into this Virginia game, a quick little reminder of the horror that was the number 16 UNC game. What really went wrong there, Drew?
SU scored just 8 points in the first 10 minutes of the second half. That's not going to cut it. That was the main reason why SU went down by 30-plus points. You're not going to win many ball games.
It was really just ball movement for me, Drew and Jish. I mean, 2 assists compared to 9 fouls in the first half. That's unexcusable from an offense that's trying to go on the road and beat a ranked opponent.
You know, it's very interesting because it came after an ACC high in assists against Notre Dame. After the game against North Carolina, Coach Adrian Autry just said the team has to be more consistent.
I like this group, but we just have to, be more consistent. Be more consistent in what we're trying to do. Be more consistent in what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I don't care how much he likes this group. This group has to perform, and that was not a performance that Syracuse should be happy about. Yes, you cut it to 6 with 45 seconds left, but that's not a game you're going to win down 30 points. Time's running out. Syracuse has to run the table to have a chance, but really got to win the ACC tournament at this point.
You have to win the ACC tournament, and you might have to steal a couple, just to get the confidence up, because right now this group has nothing going for it. It's pretty bad as of there now for Syracuse. The Orange need a pickup, and it's just not happening right now.
Well, the reason why Syracuse really is eliminated from an at-large bid is just because they can't really get things done against ranked opponents. They have had time and time again to prove themselves, but so far it just has not come to fruition. A big reason why? A big drop-off from their number 1 coveted freshman, Kiyan Anthony. Started off the season on a tear, averaging 13 points per game, but since conference play has started, he's really taken a tailspin, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, he's been absolutely atrocious, guys. The ACC has 156 players. According to BPR, which is an advanced metric used to rate basketball offensive and defensive efficiency, Kiyan is 151. There are only 5 players in the ACC worse than Kiyan Anthony for those who have played 20 minutes or 80 minutes rather or more a game. I mean, he's just been terrible this season. I mean, 49.4% true shooting percentage is the worst on Syracuse, but he has the second highest shot percentage. He shoots the ball 26% of the time he has it. Unacceptable, Drew.
Kiyan Anthony was so good at the start of the year, averaging over 10 points per game. There was whispers that he should start over J.J. Starling. But at the end of the day, despite this being college basketball, it's a grown man's game, and an 18-year-old is not going to cut it. Up until December 22nd, Kiyan Anthony was scoring over 10 a night. Since then, just 6, and Syracuse has also struggled. 4-6 compared to 9-4 when Kiyan Anthony was really cooking with butter.
And what happens is when this team is playing the Binghamtons and the Drexels of the world, Kiyan Anthony's dropping double digits and he looks great.
You know why? Because he's an average basketball player.
Exactly, but you see it on your screen. He's an ISO player and his offensive and defensive ratings are down just because he's not the size his dad was. His dad was able to be ISO all the time. 6'8", 220, Kiyan 6'5", 185, kind of an awkward size. It's really not that great, especially when you're trying to compete against these top-tier athletes in the ACC.
Yeah, Kiyan Anthony built a little bit like a high schooler at this point, still has plenty of room to mature, grow into his body. But Kiyan Anthony, we have to remember, was taken out of the starting lineup after getting a couple of runs in the beginning of the year, hence why his numbers were pretty good. But no matter who they put in the starting lineup, Big play as of late. The forwards and the centers, Drew, it's just been a little bit, it's left a little bit to be desired, we'll say that.
Bad bigs, more like no bigs. I mean, there's really no one you can point to and say, wow, that's a big man. William Kyle listed as a forward. So is Sadiq White. It's like my teacher getting mad at me on my essays for having bad handwriting. What do you want me to do, Professor? I don't have good handwriting. You don't want William Kyle to go down on the block and bump down low. That's not what Kyle does. He jumps over 40 inches in the air. He has insane hops. He can rebound, but he can't get down and dirty. He weighs just 230 pounds. That's not going to cut it down low. And it's not William Kyle's fault. This is a poorly constructed roster.
And when you're 6'9", you don't necessarily have the advantage like Kyle does to go down low and post players up. The problem is he can't stretch the floor either. William Kyle is absolutely atrocious from beyond about 6 or 7 feet. He's 4th in the country with 2.7 blocks per game, but he's an offensive liability for Syracuse. And then Sadiq White. I mean, look at this. The paint points for this team has been terrible, and that's in large part due to White. In his last 3 games, he's had 13 fouls and just 5 points.
If it ain't broke, definitely fix it.
Well, it is broken, obviously. Donnie Freeman has been the one carrying the load, still leading the team in scoring and rebounds. How about Akir Soare, too? He came and had a nice 10 minutes against North Carolina. He really unlocks Nate George in that game. So we clearly know that there is a lot wrong with this team, but come with us to our next segment. We're going to put on our stethoscopes and take out our whiteboards. We're going to be coaching and diagnosing what's wrong with this team in a game of CCMD. Don't go anywhere. Cuse Countdown returns after this. All right, we need better off-ball movement, we need better shooting, and we all need to put our hands up, okay?
Coach, I'm tired.
I know you're tired, but this is the time to lock in.
They're killing us, Coach.
You're killing me, Nick. Welcome back to Cuse Countdown. We've got a very special segment alongside Drew Albaugh and Nick King. I'm your head coach and main doctor, Jish Sokolsky. Today we're playing a game called CCMD, where we're going to be diagnosing everything that's wrong with this Syracuse men's basketball team ahead of its game against Virginia. All right, Drew, you ready?
Yeah.
You're going to go to the wall.
Okay.
Nick, you're going to go to the TV.
Right.
You ready? Let's go, break.
All right, well, I may not be a doctor like Jish, but I know a thing or two about ball movement, something Syracuse clearly does not. Nathan George leads Syracuse with over 5 assists per game, and outside of George, no one to be seen. J.J. Starling second most with 2 assists per contest. This is an Orange team that ranks bottom 5 in the ACC in dimes per game. That's not going to cut it, according to head coach Adrian Autry.
Our guys are used to playing with the ball in their hands, and when that happens, they stand up, and now we don't have any movement. And, and that's the thing that we have to work on. We have a lot of guys that like to play with the ball in their hand, and we have to do a better job of moving without the ball. You can't do that.
So how does Syracuse do a better job at that? Well, let's hit the film room and roll the tape. Syracuse against North Carolina, giant stretches where the Orange really had nothing offensively, and it's because the ball wasn't getting moved. Donnie Freeman at the low block, you rise at the free throw line. That's not a foul. 7 days of the week, Donnie Freeman. You're searching for something that's not there. Tyler Betsy at the left wing. Bounce pass to Freeman. Let's pause it right here. Freeman has no clue what to do with the ball. We'll continue to roll it because Freeman has the ball in his hands without a dribble for another 5 seconds. I mean, still searching, still looking for someone to give it to, and the best you got is a solo JJ Starling top of the key. He dribbles the ball off his foot, and another contested mid-range, statistically the worst shot in all of basketball. Finally, clip number 3, and let's play a little game called Count the Passes with Drew Albaugh on CitrusTV. JJ Starling, top of the key, still hasn't passed the ball. Now finally, the first pass to George, 10 seconds left on the shot clock, one more to Sadiq White on the far wing, 2 total passes before a big man takes a contested 3. Are you kidding me? This Syracuse team has to be better at swinging the rock. It's been one of the main concerns of head coach Adrian Autry. He's got to fix that. And also, the shot selection has been so poor. So Nurse Nick, what do you got?
Thanks, Drew. Nurse Nick with you, not to be confused with Nick Nurse. Forgot my scrubs today, but nonetheless, we're going to take a look at these lab results for Syracuse men's basketball's offensive efficiency by zone on the court. Now, the darker the blue, that means below the national average they are. The darker the red, that means the higher above the national average they are. As you can see, a lot of blue, especially around the perimeter on both wings and both corners. Syracuse struggling all season long at those spots on the court, but you see one dark red zone, and that's right under the basket. That's because of one simple thing, the alley-oop. Yes, everybody's favorite play. Syracuse ranks top 10 in the nation in total alley-oops on the season, and also the Orange love to jam the ball. Showtime Syracuse, it has been called this season. The Orange top 25 nationally in dunks per 2-point field goal made, but sometimes those lobs, those jams can get the Orange into trouble. So let's go take a look. We're doing another film room for you here on Cuse Countdown. We can roll the tape, and we're going to look at William Kyle, and we're going to pause it right here. A lob from Nate Keynes goes completely over the head of Kyle. He's going up against the 7-footer, and look, he's almost out of bounds when he lands. That's just unacceptable from the Syracuse team, and it completely ruins the possession. That's not a shot you need to take with 14 left on the shot clock. Absolutely unacceptable. We can continue to roll it, and look, Nate Keynes grabs the sort of pass from William Kyle and throws up 2 lifeless floaters, in all honesty. Just a bad possession from the Orange. And what needs to be mentioned is the fact that the shot clock resets after the ball hits the rim. So after Kings misses this floater and grabs his offensive rebound, he has a chance to kick it back out and reset the possession. But we have another play right here that just shows how bad this Syracuse shot selection is. And we're going to pause it right here. Sadiq White is going up for a layup on a fast break. And listen, you have 21 seconds on the shot clock, plenty of time to slow things down. But I understand when you're getting a chance against North Carolina, you take it. Here's the problem. Syracuse had a better chance. I don't know if you could see this, but look over in the corner. You know who's standing there? Nate Keynes. Your best 3-point shooter in the corner, wide open on a fast break. What does Sadiq White do? Charge against the 7-footer, throw up a lofty floater, and you can continue to roll it. This thing barely graces the backboard. Absolutely unacceptable from Syracuse men's basketball. This has plagued them all season. Bad shot selection, and it starts from the bad ball movement. And I know our coach early on, Jish Sokolsky, was thinking of benching me because of my poor performance. Well, we're going to go to the wall with him to talk about bench consistency. Jish?
Yep. Thank you, Nurse Nick. Last but not least, this Syracuse basketball team just doesn't have enough nutrients. It's a little thin and frail, and that stems from some poor and inconsistent depth. Syracuse consistently runs an 8-man rotation, sometimes 9 men if they're feeling a little frisky, but instead of providing a spark, they halt the progress of the starters. Just take a look here. Sadiq White, Tyler Betsy, Kiyan Anthony, those are the 3 main ones that come off the bench, only averaging all under 10 points per game. None of them are really the microwave. The biggest problem is the maturity drop-off, as demonstrated in some other key stats. Despite playing just a third of the team's total minutes, the bench mob is responsible for under 20% of the team's assists and for 45% of the team's fouls. Now, I know this might come as a surprise. Everyone has seen Kiyan's dazzling, creating his own space, Sadiq's finishing a lob, or maybe that clutch Tyler Betsy 3 against Houston, but take the ball out of their hand and they look helpless. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at that North Carolina game one more time. This was a putrid possession late in the first half, a shot clock violation. Nobody's moving. Look at Tyler Betsy. Bench mob, gets the ball, has no idea what to do with it. Doesn't know how to work within the synergy of the offense. He is standing still. This is my best Tyler Betsy impression. What is he doing? He's not doing anything. Nate George has to put up a shot clock violation. Let's take a look at it from another angle. There's Sadiq White down there, another bench piece. Tyler Betsy, just standing still. Statues have moved more than these two. He gets the ball, finally a little bit of movement, but not enough. Nate George has to do everything himself. He's maybe been getting a little bit too much of unfair criticism because what else is he supposed to do? Nobody's moving for him. This is why you bring in bench guys, to bring in the energy, to provide some scoring off the bench. But Tyler Betsy, just doing nothing out there. Sadiq White, I guess a fine pass to end things off. So as you can see, the three of us, we can prescribe the problems really well. What's the prescription? We don't really know. Well, the next sickness that Syracuse will have to face is number 18, Virginia. We will talk about it on the other side of this break. Cuse Countdown continues right after this. Welcome back into Cuse Countdown. I'm sure my analysts Drew Albaugh and Nick King are sick and tired of talking about the Syracuse basketball team.
Sick and tired? You see what you did there?
Yeah, my doctorate degree has already been revoked. But we are now it's time to talk about a little bit more of a refreshing subject, a really good University of Virginia basketball team ranked number 18 in the land. And guys, that really has a lot to do with the fact that they have the new head coach, and he's really turned things around after a year of Ron Sanchez saw the Cavaliers go 15-17. What exactly, Drew, is Ryan Odom doing a lot better than his interim the year before?
What isn't he doing better? I mean, this is a guy who was lights out everywhere he's been. UMBC, yeah, I'm pretty sure we remember that. The 16
Virginia definitely does.
The Virginia 1 seed. How ironic is that? Then, of course, Utah State and VCU, all three teams he's coached at prior to Virginia, made March Madness. I mean, that's pretty darn good, Nick. And this is a team with so much experience, and that's what Ryan Odom has done so well. He's brought in guys who have seen March and know how to play in it. Over 500 minutes on the court this current roster has. That's over 200 more minutes than the second best team in the ACC.
This is exactly the thing that we're seeing right here on the full screen. He has prioritized offense and size. Shooting-wise, Jakari White, Sam Lewis, Devon Tillis, all over 40% from three, all newcomers for this UVA squad, and it helps their offense, 83.3 points per game. Listen, Syracuse fans remember this Virginia team being dominant defensively. You remember that 34-point game just 6 years ago where Syracuse couldn't even reach 40? I mean, the Orange have struggled. Teams have struggled against this Virginia team offensively, but now they're an offensive powerhouse. It's a complete change of identity, Drew.
Yeah, you don't need a doctor to tell you that this team is operating a lot better under Ryan Odom than it did under Ron Sanchez, even after a great 15 years under national champion Tony Bennett. And Nick, you mentioned it a little bit. The shooting has gotten a lot better. This three-point shooting team, that's really what Virginia's turned into. They're averaging almost 33s a night, and they're making 36% of them, just a percentage point lower than last year, despite taking a lot more. What's really been the turnaround with the shooting, Nick?
Well, just Drew, it's really just been the guys they've brought in and the shots they're taking. UVA is one of the best rebounding teams in the ACC, and that helps offensive rebound-wise, which they're third in the nation for, by the way. You can get extra possessions. You can space the floor. You can find open guys, and those guys are knocking it down. UVA is fifth in the ACC in three-point percentage, but the difference is in past years, Drew, those guys towards the top have only been making about 32%. Their top four players in three-pointers made are all shooting over 33%, with two of them shooting over 40%.
Virginia, inside, outside, so great. I mean, look at this. works it inside, goes straight up. You got to guard the paint so the three-point land is open. And one guy in particular I want to highlight. Jakari White shoots over 40% from deep. He's kind of like the Tyler Betsy for Virginia. And yeah, top 5 in the ACC. This Cavaliers squad shoots a clip of 36%, led by White. 80% of his makes are via the three-point line.
Tyler Betsy wishes he was Jakari White. I mean, that guy's
Tyler Betsy's pretty good.
At least Jakari White knows how to move.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You think Tyler Betsy's the problem?
Did you watch Drew diagnose or not Drew, Jish diagnose the bench?
I'm literally,
do we look alike?
I'm in your head. I'm in your head with that take. You just called him Drew. Tyler Betsy and White are very similar players.
There are plenty of people I would not like to be compared to, but you are not one of them.
Oh,
I'm glad I
it.
am confused for you.
My cheeks are the color of your tie right now.
Man. Well, Jakari White, I'm sure the Jakarmi, his fan section in the student section, is very happy about his shooting performance. A very unexpected kind of year from UVA after being a middle-of-the-road ACC team last year. And part of that is in part due to the freshman class really performing above expectations. They were not ranked as a top 50 recruiting class by 24/7 Sports, by On3. Any real recruiting site wouldn't have Virginia on the radar before the season, but that's really turned around in a big way, Drew.
Ties to Ritter and Chance Mallory, so good. Top 3 in scoring for the Cavaliers for both of those players, and it's really DeRitter who is lights out. Over 16 points per game for DeRitter, top 10 in the ACC. This is a freshman. I mean, you look at what Kai and Anthony, Sadiq White are doing, and then you look at what these guys are doing, and it's night and day, and it's the difference maker for the Cavaliers.
Well, it also has to be noted that DeRitter is coming from an international playing abroad. I mean, he's 20 years old as a freshman.
Sure.
He's been great, but I want to focus more on Chance Mallory. He's similar to Kihei Clark, who played for Virginia a few years ago. I mean, both 5'9", 5'10" size-wise, but, I mean, he can absolutely shoot it better. You look at the numbers on your screen, 10 points per game. He's shooting at a 46% clip, but just from deep, he's been absolutely incredible. You look at Mallory, local kid from Charlottesville. He's been efficient, 77
local
assists,
guy, huh?
26 turnovers. Oh, yeah, you bet. He's been phenomenal this year for the Cavaliers, and then DeRitter. Everything's been set. His rebounding numbers, spectacular. He's first on the team in rebounding for a team that ranks 11th in the nation in that stat.
And they balance each other out really well. DeRitter loves to score. Mallory with all of the assists. Yeah, those two are some special players. Kind of what Syracuse fans thought maybe Sadiq White and Kai Anthony were going to be.
And don't forget about Jonah Grunlow, another international player that was brought over by Odom. He's averaging 6.1 rebounds a game, and half of them are coming on the offensive side. That's big for a team that's really trying to emphasize offense.
I mean, that really is the difference maker, is how these freshmen are playing. And in this era of college basketball, that's unexpected.
100%.
All right, let's move on from the freshmen over to Jish at the desk.
Drew, we've talked a lot about the freshmen, as you said, but today we're talking more about the seniors as we move further and further into this Cuse countdown. On this week's edition of our marquee matchup, we're looking at guard play. Malik Thomas from Virginia is going toe-to-toe with Syracuse's J.J. Starling. Drew, Nick, time to break down the marquee matchup.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here. Marquee matchup between me and you. And my guy is J.J. Starling, but not for all the right reasons. Against UNC, this is J.J. Starling that had just over 10 points. It's Starling and it's Thomas. How do the guards fare? Well, first, let's roll the tape of Mr. Baldwinsville native J.J. Starling against North Carolina. Absolutely awful. And here at the left wing, J.J. drives inside, forces the turnaround jumper from 8 feet. It clanks off the back rim. That's not a good shot any day of the week. We can watch it in slow motion. JJ just searching. I mean, there's just nobody open. But then here on the switch, he likes his matchup. Pause it right here if we could. JJ with the push off. And yeah, I guess we don't need to pause it because JJ never pauses out there on the court. He acts like he's moving a million miles an hour. This is Starling, who is so good for Syracuse when he was a freshman. We were talking about the freshman when he was, or rather with Notre Dame when he was a freshman.
Coming in as
and
well.
then as a sophomore for Syracuse. And now, what's been happening with JJ since January 1st?
Yeah, it's been a lot of inconsistency. He hasn't been getting a whole lot of help. And another guy that's relatively inconsistent and very similar to J.J. Starling is my guy, Malik Thomas, coming over from San Francisco, averaged 20 points a game last year. That number's dwindled to about 12, but he is still an impact player. We can roll the tape for him as well. He's been spectacular for the Cavaliers this year. You see that quick first step, turn around, and this time he actually makes it. The problem is the efficiency. Sometimes he's only shooting about 40%, but we can pause it right here. That's just an absolutely great release. When Starling was working on his guy, you saw him about
way down
4
here.
or 5 inches
I mean,
taller,
my goodness, yeah.
down here, can't work off the glass. That's a good look from Malik Thomas. He's a smart player, doesn't turn it over too much. We can continue to roll it. He's been absolutely spectacular for a Cavaliers team that needed an offensive spark. And look at that quick first step again. Spin move to the rack. I mean, filthy. But you've seen J.J. Starling do things like that.
Sure.
It's going to come down to who's going to be more efficient for either side come Saturday afternoon. And that's the big key for this marquee matchup. Who can wave off those inconsistencies and who can score the basketball effectively. Well, that's what we have for our marquee matchup. When we return, Jish will join us back here at the wall and we'll give our predictions for Syracuse and Virginia. Don't go anywhere. Cuse Countdown returns after this.
Nice job. You two are going to stay. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are wrapping up shop here on Cuse Countdown alongside Drew Albaugh and Nick King. I'm Jish Sokolsky. We've talked a lot about this particular game, almost as much as we can. We still got a little more to talk about, but let's take a step out and take a look at some of the ACC standings before we talk a little bit more about Virginia. Yeah, Syracuse in 11th place, not exactly where you'd want to be, Nick.
Yeah, not at all. This Syracuse team had high expectations coming into the year, and they've crumbled over the past 3 weeks. Winning just one of their last 6, it's been bad.
And Virginia, a completely different story, top 3 in the conference.
So if Syracuse does want to beat the number 3 team in the ACC, Drew, what do they have to do?
Syracuse has got to play a childhood game of mine. Hot potato. Got to move the rock, keep it moving. You know when we were doctors and we kept moving things around? That's what they need to do. They need to move the ball and keep things going. Syracuse is bottom 5 in the ACC in assists per game. That can't fly against a really good Virginia defense.
Yeah, and what else can't fly is this team has to grab some rebounds. So that's why my key is grab the Windex, because you've got to crash those boards. We've already talked about it. I definitely have Virginia, one of the best rebounding teams in the ACC. In each of Syracuse's last 3 losses, they've been out-rebounded by 38.
Wow.
If you want to beat Virginia, you have to steal possessions away and grab them yourself. Without that, the Orange have no chance.
But you'd rather move the ball, though, right?
Would rather move the ball, but you got to move the ball. You got to have the ball.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, it's pretty clear you know exactly how Syracuse can beat Virginia, but now the question is, will they? Nick, what is your score prediction?
No, I say absolutely not. I have Virginia 88-67. Listen, this Cavaliers team is just too stacked right now for the Orange to compete with. I think Syracuse is going to struggle down in Charlottesville. Give me the Cavaliers. Hoorah!
I have, the same result, 65-60. Virginia's going to win this one, but it's a lot closer than a lot of people think. This is a Virginia team that took Notre Dame to overtime. Syracuse destroyed Notre Dame.
And Syracuse also lost to NC State by 20 on the road and was down 32 to North Carolina. Come on,
Virginia took Notre Dame to overtime, lost to Cal, I don't know. I think Syracuse can make it close.
All right. Let me settle this. I think that Virginia does blow out Syracuse. The offensive lifelessness against UNC just does not give me any confidence.
You always side with him.
I always do side with him. That was my former producer, associate producer. Dang it. I'm taking Virginia 78-61. Syracuse might keep it close at certain points, might go on a run, but it's only going to be lipstick on a pig. Virginia really is going to run away with this one. Syracuse versus Virginia is live Saturday at noon. Be sure to follow our coverage on X. That will be one you have to watch. A big thank you to all of our producers here at Cuse Countdown and everyone behind the scenes at CitrusTV. For Drew Albaugh and Nick King, I am Jish Sokolsky saying so long, and we'll see you next week on The Countdown.